Hi everyone, it's Lesh here from livinglesh.com, the Philadelphia area fashion and lifestyle blog. I'm here today to share with you my top travel tips for short-term trips. Now when I say short-term trips, I mean trips that are about 2 to 4 to 5 days. So I'm going to share with you the easy and efficient ways for preparing for your trip, packing for your trip, and then getting ready to board your flight. Whether it be an international trip or a local trip in your home country, whether you live in the United States or other areas. I hope you enjoy everything. Stay tuned.
The first thing I do as I prepare for my trip is I do a little research. So I go on the hotel websites that I'm staying at as well as on the airline website that I'm taking and look to see first what the hotels have, such as a hair dryer or flat irons or anything that I may need that they already have there so that I don't have to pack it. And then I also go on the airline's website to make sure to check TSA protocols so that I actually pack things I'm able to get through the airport versus things that when they go through security, they stop them, they take them, and then I don't have them for the trip, and now I have to purchase them there. So then I make a list of things that I can bring, that I can't bring, things that I need to pack, so that moving forward, I know what to do. So then I get my bags. So I typically take a regular size carry-on bag and then a book bag. Now bringing my book bag can also function as a second purse. So obviously as a woman they let you bring on a purse, but your book bag also functions as a second purse and they don't even take a second look about it. Now as I begin packing, I lay out all the things I need, all of my toiletries and all of my outfits, and then I begin deciding where I'm going to put everything. Now when it comes to my toiletries, the first thing that I do is I separate them in whether they are something that can be open and can possibly spill out. And all of those things that can spill out I put into a little case so that when it's put together, if it spills out on the other things, it's not really going to affect my clothes or any of the other bigger items such as my shoes or anything else electronic in my carry-on. And I put the bigger items and stuff that's not able to really open into a bigger bag that I can fit everything into, essentially compartmentalizing every single thing that's going to go in the bathroom. So when I'm unpacking, I can just take these 2 bags into the bathroom when I get to the hotel. Now as I begin putting my outfits and my shoes and everything into my carry-on, the first thing I do is I roll up my clothes. And this is something you've probably seen in other videos and other tips, and I highly suggest it. It's not just something that everyone does because they feel like it, but it actually does save space. So I make sure that all of my my little straps are tucked in, and then I fold most of the clothes in half and then begin rolling them. So as you can see, I've already gotten quite a few things into my bag without even taking up much space. It's probably about 2% of the space taken up right now. And then for my dresses, again, you can see me rolling those straps in just so that everything doesn't get tangled or hooked on something. And again, I'm saving more space. Now for bigger items, I still try to roll them, but just not as much. As you can see, I have this very long maxi dress that is filled with multiple layers, so it's quite big. Now as I'm putting it in, I only kind of slightly roll it, but mostly fold it in half and just put it on top of all the other clothes that I've already rolled up so that it's laying on top of all my other outfits. And again, it's not taking too much space in my bag. Now of course I have to bring my shoes, so all of the rolling that I did to fit my clothes in there has helped me create space to bring all of the shoes I want, because I don't like having just one shoe for an entire outfit, but I try to keep it between 2 shoes or 3 shoes to keep them something that can be versatile with many outfits. And then I begin putting everything else in there on top. Things that won't be breakable, things that I can fit in the space allowed. So again, I'm putting everything that I possibly can into this carry-on bag. Now I probably could fit all of this in here if I really want to squish it all in, but this is where the book bag comes into play. So I can take some things out and alleviate some space for things I may want to bring back and put some of the toiletries into my book bag, so again they won't get squished while they're being shoved into an overhead compartment because they're laying there right between my feet on the plane. Now, probably the night before, even the morning of, depending on when you are leaving, what I often do is I go onto the airline website and do the online check-in. Now, this saves you so much time when you get to the airport, because you don't have to stay in that line and do all the other things, and they don't ask you all of these questions because they've already asked you online. So a lot of times when I do this, I go right in past that front door, and I can go right through security without actually having to get a ticket or check my bag. If I'm not checking a bag, such as in this situation, I just have a carry-on. So there's no need to stop and do anything at that front desk. Just go right through, check in. They ask you very simple questions, and at the end, it tells you what seat you're in, allows you to change your seat if you want to. Sometimes I do, depending on if I'm in a row and there's like a couple rows back and it's extra $10 just to sit in the row with myself to get space, and I might do that. It just depends on how I'm feeling for this flight, especially how long it is. But there are other options you can go through, such as if you want to move to first class. So you can make all of those decisions beforehand instead of waiting until you get there, which again takes so much more time when you're there, and then this allows you more time to get to the airport. So no need to arrive there like 2-3 hours earlier. Now you just cut off a whole hour of time and you can just go right through. Now some airlines actually have apps too, so if you're on your way to the airport and you just want to check in, you can probably do that as well. This also saves yourself some anxiety in the case that you may be removed from the flight because they overbooked it. So by checking in early, you are not running that risk. You are basically guaranteed a seat, and if you've already checked when they get there, at this point they probably have to move you to first class or at least find you a seat and accommodate you. Now some of you may be thinking, how do I go past that front desk without getting a ticket? Well, when you check in early, they actually send you an email with your ticket. And what this allows you to do is have that ticket right on your phone, and no need to actually waste paper if you're a tree hugger like me, or if you just want to, again, save time. So a lot of things that I do is allows me actually to save it to my iPhone. So you can see that when I go to my wallet, it's right there. I can just open it and they scan it to go through security and through the ticket gate. So all you have to do is have your phone, which you have anyway. And of course, if you're traveling by yourself and you have no one to pick up at the airport, make sure you've downloaded your rideshare apps ahead of time so that you don't get to the airport and you're ready to be picked up and you're scrambling to find reception or the Wi-Fi is just bad. Plan ahead. And then of course, if you're like me, you're probably wanting to download some music, so make sure that is updated. Also, here's a tip. Look on to the airline websites to make sure they don't have an app, and if they do, download that app, because a lot of times they have apps where you're able to access the in-air Wi-Fi, and they actually have free movies you can watch, which helps to pass the time tremendously. I've actually been watching new movies flying with American Airlines recently.
Now when you get to the airport, there's two main scenarios. The first scenario is if you only have a carry-on bag and a personal item. There's no need to go up to the desk or the kiosk to get anything checked in because you just have your carry-on and your personal item. The only reason you need to go up there is if you need to get your boarding pass. But if you've done the prior check-in, there's no need to go up there because you have your boarding pass either in your email or your mobile, or you've printed it out. Now, if you do have a checked bag, you have to go up to the desk and or kiosk. This all depends on your airline. Some airlines have a simple kiosk where you walk up to, you check yourself in using your passport number or your valid driver's license or ID number. You check in yourself, it prints out another boarding pass, and it also prints out your checked baggage ticket that you have to put on yourself. Now, once you've done that, you take it up, have it weighed. If it is overweight, they will check that. So even though you go in there and you try to put, oh, it's under 50 pounds, they will weigh it. And they could check it and they will charge you if it's over. Now, if it's fine, they'll go right through. You go up next to security. Now, the one thing you want to be aware of is whether there is a baggage fee. Some airlines don't have baggage fees for your first checked bag. Typically, it's just a baggage fee for the second checked-in bag. Now, a lot of other airlines do have baggage fees for your first checked bag. It's usually anywhere between $15 to $25, a little bit more depending, again, on your airline. So the best thing to do is before you leave to prepare yourself, go on the website, click on check bag, and see if there's any fees. There may be certain fees for international flights or local flights. It all depends. So make sure you get that information ahead of time. Now, the one thing I always recommend, this is something big, if you're a person that knows you're going to get thirsty while you are in the airport, bring an empty water bottle. This can be a plastic water bottle that you just finished. Typically they don't try to do those, but you can bring one of those plastic cups. I bring one of those plastic travel mugs, or a regular travel mug. And if it's empty, they'll look at it, they'll view it. If it's dry, you're completely fine, they'll let you move on. And then once you get in there, you open that water bottle up, go to one of the water fountains and pour your water in there. This will save you money. Also, if you're a person that knows you're gonna get hungry, sometimes they let you bring snacks Again, check on your airlines or your airport's website, not the airline. Make sure you go to the airport website to let you know what you can bring in. I've brought snacks in. They let me usually do that, like little granola bars, but usually big meals, they're very hesitant on that. They don't let you bring those. But the one place I always recommend to go once you get into the airport, if you're hungry and you can bring this on your flight, is to get like a foot-long Subway sandwich, or just a sub from any one of your favorite sub shops, because they're usually cheaper. Subway is usually just one of the cheaper routes that I go. Maybe get a foot long, you eat half of it while you're waiting depending on how early you're there, and you take the other half and eat it on the flight. Or you get a 6-inch and you eat it on the flight. They will let you bring food onto your flight, even though, because they'll just, instead of buying it on there, because usually once you get on there, it is pretty expensive. One of the other things I also recommend when it comes to carry-on bags, a lot of people who take shorter trips bring carry-on bags, such as myself, but don't really want to carry them around. Now here's a little trick that I learned. Again, it doesn't always work for every airline, but most airlines I found this out. If you bring on that little tiny suitcase carry-on, at some point right before they're about to board, they'll ask, does anybody want to check their carry-on baggage? So basically what they'll do, you'll bring it up, and it's free. It's absolutely free. So don't sit there and worry like, oh my gosh, I just avoided doing that check bag. Now they want me to check my bag here, but I don't want to pay for it. It's free. Literally, you go up, they look at your bag, they don't weigh it, they just look at the size because they know it's carry-on. Once you've got this far, it is okay. And they put the tag on it, and it goes down to that line where they usually take the check things that are going into the under compartment on the airplane. They take it, they put it in there, and it comes through on the conveyor belt at the end once you get off your flight. I've done this numerous of times, never had problems. Literally, I get it at the end, so this saves me from having to put it in the overhead compartment and holding up the entire line, plus stressing out my arms, and then having to take it down at the end of the flight and holding up that line. Literally, I am just carrying my personal item that if it's a book bag, I can put it in the overhead compartment so it's not under my legs, I have more leg room, or I keep it underneath. But this is an option, so make sure you're listening out for that. Again, it is absolutely free. These are free things that take place in the airports. Another tip when it comes to packing is to make sure that all of your bigger items are actually worn. So on my trip coming up, I need sneakers. I usually bring sneakers everywhere. Do not pack those sneakers in your carry-on bag because it's going to take up a lot of room. And then you'll end up actually needing to check your bag because you don't have any room. Instead, wear your sneakers. Wear your bigger items, wear your bulkier items. If you are bringing a sweatshirt, carry it with you, tie it around your waist. If you want to bring a hat, put it on your head. If you have a bunch of things that you just want to bring with you, make sure that you are wearing it, those bigger, bulkier, worn items, so that when you get on the airplane, you're kept warm because you know it's freezing on that flight. And then when you get to wherever you're going where it's hot, you can just take it off and stuff it in your book bag or carry it. Pretty simple. Now, I hope you enjoyed my video, and hopefully these travel tips were very useful to you. Now make sure if you have any additional questions or comments or anything additionally that you think I've missed, make sure you leave them in the comments below. And also make sure to follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and subscribe to my blog. You can find all the links below in the description. And I'll also share with you links to anything that I've packed or I have that I'm bringing along on my travels so that you can get it too and add it to yours. Again, thank you for following along. Appreciate you. Thank you for watching. See you next time.